Good afternoon, everybody. You're welcome to the inaugural session of I Am the Light. This is Festus Flourish Osemwaho. And today I'm here to just share briefly with you some mystical truths that I want you to know and, of course, to be aware of. We live in a time where anything that is mystical, that is beyond the human comprehension and understanding, is deemed to be evil. It should not be considered at all. But however, this is actually the reason why we are here. The journey of our lives to this place actually is a journey of the mystical. And to understand the mystical lines of how we came here and, of course, how we're going to return back is truly the essence of our spirituality. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you on a very sacred and mystical topic, something that should get into your mind to want to understand and know something about it. And that is what happens to us when we die. Wow, what a topic. You know, some persons would imagine death when we die. Yeah. I'm here to share something briefly with us so that we understand the journey in our journey back home. And you ask me, why am I doing this? I have a very strong feeling that a lot of us don't even know why we are here. And if perhaps we know how we are going back home, then we will understand how we came here and what we are actually doing here. I Am the Light series is actually about the fact that I want to bring light to our generation. I want to zoom that light into the heart of men. We live in a time where everything is so much, declared with obscurity. Not so much knowledge has been given to these sacred aspects of our lives. And because of that, we just keep on wallowing in challenges and in difficulty. So I Am the Light series is bringing illumination and knowledge to your doorstep and, of course, to those who want to learn. Now, the Bible says something in Genesis chapter 1. After the Bible said God created the heavens and the earth in verse 1. Verse 2, the Bible said, and there was gross darkness upon the surface of the deep. In other words, the first element that was revealed, that was tangible, was the element of darkness. Yeah, because everything that we see physically came from the spiritual world, the intangible world. But the first element that was revealed is the element of darkness. Friends, that should, make us understand a little bit about the power and the relevance of darkness. We often see darkness as evil. No, it's not evil. Darkness and light are the same. In other words, we call it the law of polarity. Darkness is the other side of light, and light is the other side of darkness. You might want to read up a little bit about the law of polarity of light. Okay, they are two and the same. And that is why when God appeared to the children of Israel and Mount Sinai, the Bible described him as the God that covered himself with darkness. There was thick darkness in the place. And but God covered up himself in darkness. He said, I will give you the treasures in dark places. So it's not evil. It's just that when the Lucifer sinned and it became the firstborn of sin, of evil, it was thrown into the base of darkness. Darkness is actually the base of light, and it couldn't remain in the place of light, and the only place it could be thrown into was the place of darkness. Now, everything in creation physically that you see materially went through the gate of darkness. When we are to go back, we also go through that gate of darkness. And that is why the day a man dies, he closes his eyes, he experiences that darkness. It's not the usual darkness, but the darkness that looks very similar to the one you experience when you are asleep. All right? You might not have known that every time you're sleeping, you're actually doing a dress rehearsal, preparing for death. It's the same sequence. One day you follow that same sequence. You sleep, you close your eyes, and everywhere is dark. You are not conscious of where you are. So the only thing that is conscious is your soul. And then you have dreams. Sometimes you have nightmares. You have good dreams. Your soul is active because your soul never dies. Your soul is not a material and tangible element. So all intangibilities never die. The only thing that dies is tangibility. So your soul becomes active and then you have dreams. So the day you also die, your soul remains active, but you close down the eyes here, whether it was through accident or you were shot with a gun or you were macheted with a machete, whatever it is, the moment you close that eye and this body stop being functional, you experience that darkness. The same darkness that was the gateway coming in here is the same darkness we're going to take back home. Now, because there is no time, in the realm of the soul, there is no time and there is no space. So you can't tell, and we can't tell how long you will remain in that moment of darkness until you wake up. Truly, you will wake up. But the only difference is that you don't wake up on this side. You wake up in another conscious environment. In that waking up, everything will look normal until you realize that the activities going on in such a place are different from what you are used to. And then you start seeing the people loved ones that passed away. You start strange feelings. You start hearing strange things like, oh, you can't leave this place. There is a barricade. There is a gate here. You can't go back. You start talking about death. And then, of course, that's when you realize that you have left your body. In fact, you'll be made to see your body that you left. The body is going to be lying down there. You realize that you have left your body. Now, that time in between when you saw darkness is the time where you pass through the gates of life into death. Now, listen now, when you get into that stage where darkness took over momentarily, and then, of course, until you open up your eyes on the other side, your soul was active. And then, of course, every other information that will be related to you will be information that will be related to your soul, no longer your body. So your body is like the cord that has been disconnected. So you'll be detached from the physical body, but your soul will now be active. Now, those that live their life very well, and they live their life following the laws of God, they receive light into their soul. And that's why, again, after darkness, the Bible says, let there be light. So they receive light into their soul based on the light they have also carried on earth here. Because every one of us, we have to either reflect light or darkness. So when you reflect light in the things you do, you helped people, you were an agent of light and not wicked means, you forgave people. See, the light in you will yearn to the light internal. And so there'll be a magnetic force that will pull you out of that dark region. And then you go into the region of light. You get into the region of light. You become conscious of that region. But however, because your body has not yet been buried, has not yet been put to the ground, there is still a connection. There is still an affiliation to what is happening. You won't feel the pain even if they hit your body on the ground. You won't feel the pain even if they cut it. You won't feel the pain even if they put the body in the mortuary. You won't feel the pain. But you are in a safer place now, the place of light, because you were righteous. If you were not righteous, you remain in that darkness, obscure darkness, not even knowing what is happening where you are. Now, immediately, the body is being buried, because it could take months, like typical of people, some persons that will prepare the body for 3, 4 months. While all that is happening, the body will be hovering around the place, rather the soul will be hovering around the body, because it's still waiting for the body to be laid down to the ground. This is what happened on the burial day. The day of the burial, the soul is allowed to come and witness the final transition to its internal abode. So the soul comes around, it sees everything that happens. This time around, the soul is not conscious that it's dead and doesn't belong to this life anymore. And then all the singing, all the dancing, all the shouting, all the crying, the soul will be allowed to experience all of that. Immediately, the casket is laid down into the ground, and then people start pouring sound. Every bit of that sound that falls on the casket, the soul hears. You will hear the sound, but you can't feel it on the body. You will hear the sound as they are putting the sound on the casket. The soul will hear, but it's not conscious. They can't do anything about it. And then once they cover the grave completely and it's sealed up, and those that covered it had gone, everywhere will suddenly become silent. The soul will experience that silence. No sound again from the earth. The soul will no longer be allowed to have access to the sound. In fact, the only sound, why the soul could hear that sound was because the body was still on the earth. So now that the body has been covered with the sand, in fact, the soul will hear the foot of men walking away. As they are still talking, they are walking away. The soul will hear it. And then all of a sudden, man will return back to the initial state where God said it's not good for the man to be alone. Man will not completely be alone. You know what? I'm not going to continue. I'm just going to hold it here because I'm going to do this in series. You need to come along with me. If you're hearing this, have access to this on YouTube, just subscribe, connect, because I'm going to do this in series. And then, of course, you will need to understand that if this is the way life is, the question is, when we now become conscious on the other side and the body has been buried, what do we do as soulish beings? It looks like we have eventually returned back to where we were before we entered into the earth. Man was essentially created as a soul. God breathed upon man the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So all that we've been doing on earth here has been a temporary thing. The day man sinned, this was where he fell into. This was the darkness God said he would fall into. So when we're returning back to where we're coming from, we're going to pass through that same soulish realm where Adam and Eve experienced. So immediately that person is laid to the ground, he returns back to that soulish realm. Friend, this was what I discovered, that man is essentially a soul. If you understand and you know how to tap into your soulish ability, you'll be able to rule on earth. You will not pay high premium on materialism. You earn money. It won't make any sense to you. It will be, how do I help people? How do I support noble causes? How do I make a difference and be the light to others? Because that thing that would make you go to the region of light is the amount of light in you. It's like a remote control. What you do here is accumulation of light. And that is why, friends, I want you to understand that life is so meaningless. One day to be covered up. But what cannot be covered up is the light you have accumulated, like the points you have gained here. That's what's going to take you to the region of light, or it's going to make you remain in the region of darkness. I'm going to hold it here. This is Festus Flourish Osemahu, and I want to invite every one of you to what I call supernatural codes for VIP. Okay, we have the regular one, and of course we have for VIP. And you are a VIP. Yeah, I want you to know that you are a VIP. And those of you that want to learn more, that want to understand about mystical things, spiritual things, join this fold. The supernatural code for VIP holds every last Wednesday of the month. It's for VIP. Like I said, you are the VIP. I don't know, you don't know, because you are the VIP. Connect in, join in, and make sure you follow this VIP session by registering. It's not open to everybody, but once you signify your interest, we'll register you into the VIP supernatural code, where we teach about supernatural life and, of course, life after, so that you can prepare yourself for the life after. If you're having access to this for the first time, please, on YouTube, subscribe to this channel, click like, and of course the notification bell, so that whenever we go live, you'll be the first to know. God bless you. Thank you for joining this afternoon. Thank you for joining this day.